Okay, I've received a number of questions from prospects, folks who own cloud suites or maybe are interested in Birst, um, especially in kind of the Infor environment. What can I do with Infor Analytics? And Infor Analytics, if you don't know, is kind of the entry level Birst solution or Birst licensing level folks receive with their cloud suite. Okay. So, for example, every cloud suite customer generally gets an ERP, they get Mingle, they get the data lake, and they get Birst. So this is to discuss what can you do with that licensing. Okay. So we're going to go through three things. What can all the versions for Infor Birst do? The differences between Infor Analytics and Birst Enterprise, and then help you understand which licensing you have. Okay? So we're going to get started and we're going to say, okay, so what can all the versions of Infor Birst do? Okay, and to walk you through that, I'm going to go into one of the solutions that we've built within our Cloud Suite distribution module. And what you can do is you can create apps. Okay, so these are all Birst spaces. Okay, so I can create that. Now to get to Birst, we're going to go through the general Birst link. And notice this is different than the pre-built packages that are built for your organization, all right? And with the standard Infor Analytics, you can have really as many spaces as you want, okay? And within those spaces, you can go in and we can create a solution. We can actually connect. So one of the things about Infor Analytics is you're going to be limited on your data. So if you are an Infor Analytics customer, you're going to come in here and you're going to see, hey, I only have my Infor data lake kind of visible. Everything else is going to be kind of grayed out. All right. So that's a way to tell, and that's the quick, easy way to tell you what you have. But you can go in and you can, connect to your data lake. Okay. And that's all this is here. This is a query going back to the data lake. Okay. You can prepare your data. All right. Infor Analytics, not Enterprise. So we can come in here and we've got an extract, and then maybe we've got some scripting in here that allows us to, create the underlying data that we want to use going forward. Okay, we can relate that data. So what this means is I'm actually going to be creating an underlying data model to populate my data in order to facilitate my analytics, right? So for example, this is a fact table. And for analytics, I can create fact tables. I can connect them up to my dimensions, and I can create this underlying data model. Okay. Now you can, with the basic licensing, you can create reports. So this is Visualizer, and we can come in here. I can select a measure, and I'm just going to pull a key here. And let's see, we're going to look and say, okay, what load date does that give us? All right, that gives us some data, right? And if I want to APSV, so this is my vendor. So maybe I'm going to look for name, and I've got this. So vendor name, look at that. I can build that report once again Infor Analytics. Okay, I can save. So I'm going to save this out here. I'm just going to call it delete. So we know we're going to delete this eventually. Okay, once again, I can go out and I can leave this piece, and then I can go to a dashboard. Okay, with Infor Analytics, I can have dashboards. All right, I don't need to purchase the add-on to get there. So this could take a moment. All of this is supportable by Infor Analytics. If I want to add something to it, I just go in here, existing report. I'm going to just throw delete on there and be like, what the heck is that? Well, let's just delete it when you get a chance, all right? I can add that to my dashboard. Once again, I have not stepped out of the basic capabilities. Then I can go in and I can even do designer. This is a pixel perfect report. So it really, you can build, extreme forms, etc. I've seen these look like balance sheets, like, just forms out of Greenbar. But at the end of the day, Infor Analytics really gives you the ability to pull your data, to model it, to drop it into a dashboard, okay? There's nothing that we're looking at here that requires us to have that enterprise license, okay? So you can really build full solutions, and then when you're done building your solution out, I would normally add this to my audit pack. I don't know if it comes back here yet or not. It doesn't. Or maybe it does. There it is, brought me right back, right? So all of that is capable. All of that is what you can do. Okay, so we went over that really quick. Okay, so what's the differences between Birst Enterprise and Infor Analytics, and kind of when should you consider it? Okay, now first of all, the first and most significant one is going to be in Connect. Okay, so if your use case in your business needs to pull data from other places other than the Infor data lake, you need to invest in Birst Enterprise. Okay, and so for example, if you have Salesforce as a CRM system and you want to pull that in and marry it up with your Cloud Suite industrial data, then definitely. If you have an on-prem database, and we've got some customers with on-prem databases, you need to connect to that, you're going to need to buy Enterprise, okay? But a lot of small to medium companies do push all of their functionality onto their underlying ERP. And if that's the case, you really don't need Enterprise to connect to your data, okay? Now, the next place that you need to consider is a capability called Always On. All right. So Always On basically allows me to load data and process data without users losing use of the dashboard. All right. So for example, if you've got a high availability use case where, you know what, I want to load data midday and I know it's going to take so long for me to load that, and I don't want the system to go down, to not be usable by the users while it loads, then you need to buy Birst Enterprise, get that Always On, okay? Now, at the end of the day, you can often write your extractions and loads and processes to be what we call incremental, so it really speeds up that process, but that would be something to consider. And the final place would be when you consider something like the way that Infor has set up the pre-built, and that leverages a capability, or many of their pre-builts, they leverage a capability called networking, okay? So what networking allows me to do is use multiple spaces as a single solution. So if I go in here and I look at space management and I say, okay, packages, oh, I guess they're not set up. But what it allows me to do is pull multiple space, all right? This is not used often outside of Infor's pre-built content. And often if you want to modify your pre-built content in certain ways, then yes, you're going to need to purchase Enterprise. So for example, if you want to, for a lot of ERPs, if you need to add on significant custom measures, etc., then you're going to have to purchase Enterprise, okay? But that is really all you would need to purchase Enterprise for. If you are interested in more information on Birst beyond this basic overview on what you can do with Infor Analytics versus Enterprise, please visit us in the Dragon Den. This QR code should get you access. And we've got Dragon Librarian, we've got training, how-tos. We document our products there. We do our release updates, and we have Birst Fridays as well as other events that are available to educate users about Birst. Thank you very much. I'm Birst Bill with Agile Dragon Group, and I hope you'll drop by the den or drop us a line. Have a good day.